This story takes place in Las Vegas. I saw a man fall down an escalator that was moving up. It takes a moment to picture this, but it was hilarious. The man was clearly drunk out of his mind and just started rolling down the stairs, very slowly. It was so slow, in fact, that the escalator was keeping up with him. So he was basically just tumbling in place. He got up a good bit of momentum and finally reached the bottom, at which point the escalator took him all the way back up to the top, where the whole process started over again. These two girls ran up to try to help him. They were not dressed to save a person. They soon realized they were dealing with a 250 to 270 pound ball of humanity and decided to run away down the uphill escalator. It was like watching Indiana Jones run from the giant ball. After about 90 seconds, he came to and got up, looking around like he hadn't just fallen down an escalator twice. Then all his buddies came walking back, asking where the hell he was. Little did they know, they had just missed the most monumental moment of this guy's life. But I hadn't, and I'll never forget it.
My elderly father, a portly and somewhat immobile gentleman, has given to doing dad things. Like pulling his trousers up far past his waist with his shirt neatly tucked under his belt. On his belt is clipped a 1990s Nokia phone in its original case and immaculately preserved. He is very proud of it. Because of his protruding belly, when he sits, he sometimes accidentally engages his phone, dialing random numbers. One day he sits down at home when the landline, aka the house phone, starts to ring, so he picks it up and demands to know who's there. No one answers. He then proceeds to dial 1471, which is our version of *69 for you Yanks, on the house phone to ring the caller back. As he is doing this, his cell phone on his waist starts to ring. Somewhat in a panic because he hates to miss any calls. He fumbles around to answer his mobile while still holding the house phone receiver with his other hand, almost dropping both. He bellows, "Hello!" into his mobile. No answer. He quickly puts the house phone to his other ear and, realizing it has been answered on the other end, he shouts, hold on 1 minute, please." He switches to the other receiver, shouting, "Hello! Hello!" even louder. Switches back, and so on and so forth. I'm sat opposite him, holding a sandwich in mid-bite for the entire time, wondering if what I was witnessing was really happening. The loony old bloke finally gave up on both, quote-unquote, callers, hanging up the phones in a huff about the annoying buggers that wouldn't answer him.
During a soccer game back when I was in junior high, my good friend Adam and his twin brother Aaron were on the opposing team. I was advancing towards their net when Adam came at me from my left, and Aaron from my right. When they both got close to kick the ball away from me, I hit the brakes and stopped the ball. They both missed the ball and ended up kicking each other in the shins. Their bodies collided. Then their heads collided with a loud thunk. The way it all synchronized was just too damn funny that I couldn't continue running and just ended up rolling on the ground laughing. I thought it was over, but then they both got mad at each other and started fistfighting. Which was even more funny, watching these twin brothers nearly go to fisticuffs over a colliding into each other on the soccer field. I was laughing so hard watching it all unfold in front of me that I thought I would pass out. Fortunately, when brought up these days, the brothers have a good laugh over it. One of the funniest memories I have. While on a motorcycle trip across half the country, my father and I witnessed the tail end of a very confrontational road rage incident. We were riding up this highway when one car passed a pickup on the right slightly aggressively. We honestly didn't think much of it until about 5 minutes later we round a bend to see both cars parked on the shoulder, drivers in mid-fisticuffs. Dad and I both slowed our bikes down as we passed. I looked over, and the fighters were so involved in their battle that they forgot to take the terrain into account. They ended up falling together and rolling down a slightly steep hill together while trying to punch each other. It wasn't until we stopped for a break about an hour later that my dad laughed and says, "Oh, and what the dick was that fight all about anyways?" The image of those two guys punching at each other as they rolled down that hill together, kicking up all sorts of dust, is still one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Freaking New Mexico. I hope I can describe this to be as hilarious as it actually was. After a night at the bars, it was after 2 a.m., and I was waiting for my food order at Jack in the Box with all the other hungry drunk people. A girl next to me obviously can't wait for her food, so she takes out her iPhone, opens a packet of hot sauce, and squeezes it onto her iPhone like a plate, then takes a huge lick. She had no idea what she was doing, and one of her friends had to pull the damn iPhone out of her hand mid-lick. I still laugh uncontrollably when I think of the visual.